Cause wait a goddamn minute. Why am I so late to the party? Why didn't I know about Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa, and Teyana Taylor? Baby, what? Oh, you're gonna love me. That shit looks so divine. It's almost look like they was made for each other. Them motherfucking pictures look like they supposed to be in an art museum. Like, that shit looks so fucking... French kid. I am here for it. I am here for it. That gotta be the reason why Lori was like, nah, I'm cool on him. Because you know Lori is not turning down no new bank, baby. She would have ate it up real quick. Oh, I'm just here for it. They look so damn good together. Like, what?
The DNA results are in, and nobody was ready for this. Aaron is the baby's father, and the news just shattered everything. Iman found out last, and his reaction left the entire room frozen. What started as a rumor has now become a full-blown family crisis. For weeks, quiet whispers had swirled through their inner circle and the internet alike, all wondering who the real father of the baby could be. At first, it all felt like background noise, just fans making noise online. Some were certain it had to be Iman, pointing to timelines and the secrecy surrounding the pregnancy. Others questioned the closeness between Teyana and Aaron, hinting at something deeper than friendship. Through it all, Teyana said nothing. No denial. No confirmation. Just silence. Until recently, in the background, a quiet but official court-ordered DNA test had been carried out. No press. No announcements. Just one scientific truth. And when the results landed, they left no room for confusion. Aaron was the biological father. But it wasn't the DNA match that hit hardest. It was the way Iman found out. The way he wasn't even in the room when the truth came crashing down. According to sources close to the situation, Iman didn't even hear the results from Teyana. He got a call from a mutual friend, someone who had seen the court papers first. At first, he thought it was some kind of sick joke. But the more he listened, the more his heart sank. When he saw the documents for himself, it became real. And that's when shock turned into anger. Loud, messy, unfiltered anger. I had to find out like this, he reportedly shouted into the phone later that evening. The pain in his voice was raw. He had always believed he deserved at least the truth. If not the baby, then at least honesty. Sources say he drove straight to Teyana's house that night, not even stopping to think about what he would say. He didn't need to plan it. He just needed answers. But what he found at that door wasn't clarity, it was more silence. More coldness. Teyana didn't even try to explain when he confronted her. She just stood there, frozen. And that silence hurt more than any lie ever could. She didn't deny it. She didn't apologize. She didn't even look surprised. Iman stood there staring at her, waiting for anything, an explanation, a confession, even a scream. But she gave him none of it. The quiet felt like betrayal all over again. It told him everything he needed to know. She had known for a while, and still let him believe otherwise. Then, before the situation could even cool down, it exploded. Aaron showed up. Now both men were standing in her living room, and it didn't take long before emotions reached their boiling point. Iman's voice echoed through the hallway. So you knew all this time and still let me play dad? The accusation wasn't just at Teyana. It was at Aaron too. Aaron didn't back down. He reportedly said, "You had your shot. This is my family now." It was like gasoline on fire. The room lit up with shouting. Teyana tried to stand between them, tried to calm things down, but she was drowned out by two men hurt in two very different ways. One furious he was left out. The other ready to claim a place he hadn't earned. Neighbors say the shouting was so loud they could hear it from outside. One door slammed so hard the windows shook. And Iman was gone. Just like that. Rage in his eyes. Betrayal in his heart. Later, when the noise had started to fade and the storm outside had finally begun to settle, Teyana sent a quiet voice note to one of her closest friends. It wasn't meant for the public. It wasn't crafted for sympathy. It was just raw. A single recording filled with tears, regret, and a voice that barely held itself together. In it, she admitted something she hadn't had the strength to say out loud before. She had known the paternity results for some time. Not days, weeks, maybe even longer. She hadn't told Iman. Not because she didn't care, but because she did. Deeply. "I didn't want to break him," she whispered in that voice note. "I was trying to find the right moment." Her words stumbled between breaths and silence. "I was confused," she said, almost too softly to hear. "I needed to be sure before I ruined everything." Her voice cracked midway, collapsing into sobs that said more than her words ever could. In that moment, she didn't sound like someone who had manipulated anyone. She sounded like someone completely lost, drowning in the weight of choices she couldn't undo. But by then, the damage had already reached everyone it needed to reach. The truth, no matter how softly it's spoken, can still land like an earthquake. And in this case, her silence, whether it came from love, fear, or uncertainty, felt like betrayal. To Iman, it didn't matter that she hadn't meant to lie. It felt like she had let him carry a title, a role, a love, that didn't belong to him. That kind of truth doesn't land gently. It shatters. The online reaction was as swift and brutal as a lightning strike. As soon as the leaked court documents confirmed what fans had only whispered about, blogs and gossip sites lit up. Screenshots, statements, timelines. Everything was being dissected by strangers hungry for the next twist. The internet didn't just react. It roared. Emotions were everywhere. Some were shocked. Some were deeply angry. Others just confused, sad, hurt on behalf of people they'd never met but felt connected to. Fans split fast, each side fighting to define what love, honesty, and parenting meant in this new chapter. "She was just trying to do what's right," one tweet said. "She needed time to process something so big. That doesn't make her evil." But others weren't so willing to let it slide. "She knew, and she still let Iman think he was the father," another wrote. "That's not love. That's manipulation, plain and simple." Hashtags like #DNAShocker, #Iman deserved better, and #she should have told him started trending within hours. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about who the biological father was. It became about what it meant to lie by omission. About how many lives were impacted by one decision kept in the dark. Iman had spent years believing he was raising his daughter, loving her, protecting her, showing up for her in every possible way. And now, everything he knew had been rewritten in one court ruling. Everything he thought he understood about his family, his place in it, was up in flames. Aaron, the man at the center of the revelation, found himself in a strange spotlight too. Some people were applauding him. They said he stepped up, finally taking accountability, claiming the role he had once hesitated to embrace. Others, though, couldn't forget the earlier confrontation in the house, the shouting, the chaos. They called him out for the way he had handled things with the little girl. "Stepping up doesn't erase the damage you caused before you were ready to be a father," one post read. But in the middle of all this noise, commentary, and moral analysis was one person who had no voice in any of it. The child. A little girl who never asked for this. Who never wanted her world to become headlines or hashtags. One day, she was living with her mom and believing Iman was her dad. The next, everything had changed. Her reality had split open, and she was watching from the center as the adults around her turned to stone and silence. The two men she had looked up to, both hurting, both walking away in different ways. According to insiders close to Iman, he's gone completely quiet. No texts, no calls, no statements. He's shut everything down. One friend reportedly said Iman told them, "I'm done being part of someone else's lie." That sentence alone cut deep. Not because it was angry, but because it carried the finality of heartbreak. It was the sound of a man detaching himself from something he once built his world around. Whether he will return to the child's life remains unknown. No one can predict what space-time and grief will create, or destroy. Meanwhile, Aaron is going the other way. He's leaning in. He's already filed paperwork to claim legal rights and responsibilities as the biological father. He's pushing to be recognized as the child's full-time guardian. His team is preparing to prove his commitment, even as his public image remains fractured. Some call it redemption. Others call it opportunism. But for Teyana, none of this is theory. It's real. It's happening in real time, in real courtrooms, with real consequences. Teyana, now trapped between two very different versions of the future, is reportedly devastated. Her world has collapsed on multiple fronts. Her co-parenting relationship with Iman is broken beyond recognition. Her connection with Aaron is under a microscope, every move judged and questioned. And her daughter, the person she wanted to protect most, is now the unwilling centerpiece of a story spiraling out of control. Those close to Teyana say she's overwhelmed but trying to focus on what matters most, the child. She's still attending therapy sessions. She's keeping routine steady. She's trying to shield her daughter from the internet's glare, from the whispers, from the confusion that now floats around them like fog. But it's not easy. Every time she walks into a store, every time her name pops up in the news, she's reminded that this isn't a private pain. It's a public reckoning. There's no clean ending here. No perfect resolution. Just broken pieces of trust, of family, of identity, and the long, difficult process of picking up what's left. Everyone involved is wounded in their own way. Iman, retreating into silence. Aaron, stepping into a role with uncertain footing. And Teyana, trying to make sense of her own choices, consequences, and the reality she now lives in. Some stories go viral because they are shocking, others because they are relatable. This one is both. But beyond the noise, one truth remains. There's a child in the center of it all, watching adults burn bridges that once held her world together. And now, all anyone can hope for is that someone, anyone, can figure out how to rebuild from the ashes. Not for the cameras, not for the public, but for her. Only her. And that's the saddest truth of all, because sometimes, hiding the truth doesn't prevent heartbreak. It just delays it until the damage is worse. This wasn't just about a DNA test. It was about trust. And when that trust broke, everything around it collapsed. Iman may never forgive the way this came out. Aaron may feel like he's won something, but what did he really win, in the middle of so much chaos? And Teyana, the woman in the center of it all, may have tried to protect everyone. But in the end, she protected no one, not even herself. This story didn't need an explosion. But that's exactly what it got. Because truth doesn't stay hidden forever. And when it finally comes out, it changes everything. Do you think Teyana made the right call by keeping the truth quiet? Should Iman walk away for good? Or does he still have a place in this child's life? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. This one's beyond messy. Smash that like if you believe truth always deserves to come out. And hit subscribe for more real celebrity drama with shocking twists.